So, hey, regarding last week's episode and the Falcon Winter Soldier prediction thing and what happened in the actual episode vis-a-vis those predictions, well, hey, can't win them all. I still think we probably got a few more right that'll play out over the final episode running this week. What can I say? Didn't calculate for the pandemic having moved Black Widow's release date around, and therefore there were going to be actor reveals and character additions that were also out of order. Oh well. I love the casting, though, gotta say that. Now, I know I did a whole spiel at the end of the Mutant Vision episodes about this whole subject, and I don't necessarily want to repeat that same basic sentiment again, but I really do still feel like we have a missing forest for the trees problem with the way all the bigger narrative media tends to be consumed now, and I've been as guilty as anyone else. I'll say it up front, I ended up building that very long stretch of WandaVision episodes around a lot of the same assumptions many others did about X-Men reveals, references to comics lore. It's the big show in this genre of pop culture coverage. Doing Marvel Studios content, find a way to put an X-Men in the thumbnail, and you don't even need to be performatively cynical about it because it is interesting. It's a big set of popular media everyone knows, with a compelling hook and a bunch of interesting concepts and characters involved. It has a big ongoing implication for the shape of the global entertainment industry to come, and the question of how is that going to work is legitimately intriguing to game out from a business and creative perspective. So I definitely don't have an issue with people wanting to hear and read and talk about all of this. But I have a problem, and even if I personally didn't, it nonetheless becomes a problem when we keep up constructing the narrative for an assumption so long that we lose sight of what supposedly drew our interest to it in the first place, and then get disappointed and unfairly take that disappointment out on the work in question. My all-time favorite illustration of this in modern popular culture remains the Cloverfield Voltron conspiracy, which, like so many things, we can kinda thank J.J. Abrams and the early overpraise of Lost for. Those of you too young to remember or old enough that you forgot, the first Cloverfield movie was originally marketed based around a we're going to act like our otherwise very basic, straightforward X but done in the style of Y one-line pitch movie is way more mysterious and interesting than it is year-long viral marketing hype campaign where they pretended their secret movie was just kinda looking like Blair Witch but Godzilla because they weren't going to tell us anything about it, even refusing to confirm that it was a giant monster movie, but that first trailer and some random early ARG bullshit on the internet, for a while even officially listing it only as untitled and treating Cloverfield like a temp title, codename, whatever. So basically, they let forums and chat rooms in the talkback section of Ain't It Cool News, Ask Your Parents, share theories and guesses and maybe fake, maybe not leaks to build up to the release, and then it came out and it really was just ultimately called Cloverfield. And yeah, it's a found footage kaiju movie, and it's fine. Most everyone involved in it went on to do better things. The pseudo-sequel with John Goodman was a lot better. In any case, even watching the supposedly cryptic first trailer for it, it's hard to imagine anyone actually buying the it might not be what it seems aspect of the mystery box stuff all the way up to how do we even know it's a monster movie level, when obviously, with the benefit of hindsight, it was obviously exactly that. But again, Lost had yet to fully shit the bed, so we were all still taking J.J. Abrams much more seriously than anyone should have, at least in that respect. In any case, at a certain point in that first teaser, just before the Statue of Liberty head money shot, someone on the internet listened to the following line of dialogue.
I saw it, it's alive, it's huge!
Which, yes, obviously to you, me, and any other sensible person is someone saying, I saw it, it's alive, it's huge, a clear reference to probably the most famous two-word line of dialogue in a monster movie from Universal's Frankenstein, quoted and referenced and even used as a title for dozens of other horror and monster films as homage over the years, just a super obvious genre reference for even the normiest of normie audiences. Well, someone on the internet decided, and then a lot of other someones on the internet agreed with them, that because the big Cloverfield mystery couldn't be that it was just a monster movie with deliberately shitty-looking handheld camera work because that was trendy for a hot second, what they'd actually heard, that fleeing extra shout, was, I saw it, it's a lion, it's huge. And that because a lion, however actually novel that might have been, would still technically be only a giant monster, the lion in this case actually must have been giving away the real secret, that Matt Reeves, Drew Goddard, and J.J. Abrams were secretly, for some reason, smuggling into theaters under the guise of an untitled found footage style teaser trailer with the production codename Cloverfield, the hitherto unannounced big budget live action blockbuster Hollywood adaptation of Voltron. The 1980s Japanese cartoon about 5 giant lion-shaped robots from outer space that combine into one human-shaped robot also from outer space that fights robeasts from planet Doom.
A mighty robot, loved by good, feared by evil.
Yeah, And people will tell you, nah, that was never that much of a thing. I was there. It was absolutely that much of a thing. A lot of people bought into this, or wanted to buy it on some level, but just absolutely an absurdly long period of time, even as much actual stuff started to come out, and Abrams, etc., didn't really step in to say, no, it's definitely not that for whatever reason. It's possible they just had no idea what Voltron ever was. So it just kept on going, and some people were actually sincerely disappointed at Cloverfield when Voltron didn't show up.
I am so tired.
Now, to be clear, I'll agree with a lot of different variations on Cloverfield not being worth the hype back in the day, but failing to be a secret Voltron movie is not one of them. I'm Bob, and that's the big picture.